So I recently posted a video about what cinematic gimbal settings I use on my DJI Mini 2 to get epic shots, and that video has went down really well. But the settings are only the tip of an iceberg, and today I'm going to give you 5 cinematic tips to help you get better shots. Let's jump right in. So before I jump in and give you these 5 cinematic tips for the DJI Mini 2, I just want to say 90.3% of you aren't subscribed to my channel. So if you're new around here and like all things drone related, please make sure the subscribe button's on. And if you don't want to miss any of my other videos, please make sure that notification bell's on too. And lastly, if you learned something new, please make sure to hit the like button. So as mentioned, when it comes to getting cinematic shots with your DJI Mini 2, settings are only the tip of an iceberg. I'm going to give you 5 cinematic tips to take your footage to the next level. And these will make a massive difference to the quality of your footage. And the first is lighting and location. When it comes to filming and getting that cinematic look, you really have to consider light, because with a drone, your only source of light most of the time is natural light because you're flying outside. Now, the obvious thing people think of when they think of lighting and flying a drone is golden hour. And yes, golden hour can produce incredibly cinematic shots. That's when the sun is just going down over the horizon and you get an orange sky. But like me, most of the time when you're out flying, you aren't flying during golden hour because you either can't reserve the time to be out there flying during golden hour, or you're just out somewhere on a nice location and you want to get a shot. So there's other sun positions that you need to consider. So for top-down shots, you generally want the sun to be highest in the sky. It makes everything illuminated properly, and it also boosts saturation, because on a dull day you're not going to be able to get nice vibrant colors, whereas when the sun's high in the sky and you're looking down, you will. If you want a softer look to your images, then try filming when the sun is lower in the sky or when it's cloudy. This will give your shadows a much softer look and give you a much more cinematic image. And location is also equally as important. I make this mistake all the time. You go to a okay location, you're not fully convinced that the location's good enough for drone shots, but you think, hey, I'm there with a drone anyway, so I'm gonna do filming. And then when you come back home later that night and look at the shots you got, they're all just boring and not interesting. If you're filming something which is boring and uninteresting, no matter what you do with your drone, it's still going to produce boring and uninteresting shots. And like I say, I make that mistake all the time. So what I find is helpful to me is to really plan my day filming. Plan where I'm going and then look up a couple of shots off that location that other people have posted on Instagram. So I already know what angles look good and I already know that it's going to produce good video and shots. And then when I get there, I plan the routes I'm going to take with my drone. So when I go up with the drone, I'm not just randomly flying about trying to find the shot organically. I already know the angles and movements I'm going to take. So I put the drone up. I'm already at a good location because I know it, because I've looked at the images online. And then I know the shots I'm going to take and I just go ahead and do them. And that way you know 100% of the time you're going to get interesting shots. It's just an easy trap to make, that you think, I've got the drone with me, I'm in an okay location, I might as well put it up and film it. But if the location's not exciting you and there's no point of interest, then sometimes it's just better not putting the drone up. So my second tip is to use the right shutter speed. Shutter speed's often forgotten when people are flying drones, and beginners don't fully understand when you should use it. So when it's too bright and you're not using filters, the tendency is to crank the shutter speed over to something like 1/1000 just to get the exposure right. Sometimes it needs to be higher, sometimes a little bit less, but it's generally really high shutter speeds to make sure the exposure's down. But when you do that, your shots don't look natural because it removes all the motion blur, and it also can make your shots look stuttery during some movements. So as a general rule of thumb for natural and cinematic looking motion blur, your shot should be double your frame rate. So if you're shooting at 24 or 25 FPS, then your shutter speed should be 1/50. But the problem with this is if you lower shutter speed to something like 1/50 on even a slightly bright day, your image is going to be completely blown out. So how do we get around this? Well, the answer is ND filters. This is my set of ND filters by PJY Tech. You can see them here. There's a link in the description where you can pick them up on Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive, and I have a video coming up on these very shortly. Basically, they're like sunglasses for the lens of your drone, and what that does is it brings the brightness down but allows you to keep that low shutter speed. As a pro tip, never increase ISO, especially in the DJI Mini 2. Increasing the ISO will make your images very, very noisy. And also, if you are using ND filters and you're shooting at sunsets, always go with a slightly lighter ND filter than you think you need, because as the sun sets, it's obviously going to get darker. And I've made the mistake where I put the right ND filter on for the time, put the drone up, and as the sun sets, it gets too dark. But definitely use a combination of low shutter speed, ND filters, and that will give you great looking motion blur and not stuttery looking images and video that you just can't use. The third is drone movement, and I've got a couple of tips when it comes to this. The first is to always plan your movements and shots before you put the drone in the air. I have wasted so much time and so many batteries and so much memory card space with rubbish footage that I could never use because it just looked uninspiring and uncinematic, because I put the drone up and I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing in terms of flying it, but I don't know what I'm doing in terms of the angles I want to get. And so I'm just aimlessly flying about, recording. Might look good, I don't really know, because obviously I don't have time to play it back. And it's just a massive waste of time and battery. What I do nowadays, and it really helps, is sit in your car or stand at the location before you fly your drone and just think in your head, okay, this is the movement I'm going to take, this is the angle I want, this is the shot I want, and then put your drone up, bam, 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 get your shots. You already have planned them through, so you know they're going to look good, and it's just a much more productive use of your time. There's so many shots that you can take with your drone. You've got a top-down shot where you're shooting downward, you've got a reveal where you pull back, you've got a follow shot, an orbit shot. So many opportunities and potential, just think them through before you put the drone in the air. 2 more tips when it comes to movement. The first is be really smooth and never change direction during a shot. There's nothing more jarring, and it pulls you right out of the cinematic experience if you change movement and speed in the middle of a shot. So if you're rotating around something smoothly and then all of a sudden your rotation speeds up in the middle of a shot, it really throws people off. Or if you're moving left to right and then all of a sudden you start moving upward as well, it really throws people off. Pick one motion, pick one speed, pick one movement, and just stick with it through your entire shot. And lastly, fly close to objects. Now this is a bit of a one that comes with a caution. If you're a new flyer, please be careful. And yes, you might have a few drone crashes every now and then by doing this, but flying close to objects gives you a much more cinematic shot. It really gives you great parallax in your footage, and it also just gives great sense of scale, and it's different. You don't see many people with their drones getting shots flying close to objects. Whereas if you do, it sets your footage apart from other people's images and videos online. And I just think flying close to something gives a really cinematic shot. So do try it, but please do be careful. So step 4 is to take advantage of LUTs. I do think they are a really quick and easy way to get cinematic footage with not a lot of work. Now I do already have a video on how you can color grade your DJI Mini 2 footage, link is here. And if you want to sit down and color grade your footage and learn how to do that, that's a great video worth watching. I walk you through exactly how to do it, and you can get great looking cinematic shots using them color grading techniques. And actually it's probably worthwhile learning color grading for your drone to get an understanding of how it all works. But if you don't have that time, using LUTs is a really quick and easy way to be able to apply color grading to your footage to make it much more cinematic. Now I do have a drone LUT store with LUTs that are specific for the DJI Mini 2. The link is in the description so you can check them out there. Or if you do a quick Google, you can find lots of LUTs online for your drone footage, all with different tones and different appearances. So it does take a little bit of time to find one that suits your style. And also once you apply a LUT, don't be afraid to tweak it. You can apply a LUT and tweak it even further. But for getting a cinematic shot really, really quickly with the footage you've got, It really helps just to have a couple of LUTs that you can apply straight onto the footage. For example, here's one of my LUTs applied to one of my base shots, and you can see just instantly with no work at all how much better this shot now looks. Now, number 5, and this is a bit of a personal preference one, but this is to use a cinematic ratio. Now when you're uploading footage onto YouTube, generally speaking you're not uploading it in a cinematic ratio. A cinematic ratio would be 235/1, or as it's become commonly known, letterboxing. If you've ever watched a video on YouTube and you see the black bars top and bottom, that is letterboxing, and people do that so that their footage can be shown in a cinematic ratio. It is a bit of a personal preference thing. I sometimes use it and I sometimes don't, but I do find every now and then it can take an ordinary shot and turn it into something that looks that little bit more cinematic. So what I recommend doing is trying it out and seeing if you think it works for you. So if you learned something new about this video, please hit the like button. If you're new around here and like drone related videos, please hit the subscribe button. Please make sure the notification bell's on so you don't miss any of my other drone related videos. I really appreciate you watching this video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.